Once again, good morning, everyone. Our second speaker for today is Dr. Parth Patel. He is alumni of our college, Ashok and Rita Patel Institute of Physiotherapy. He has done his Master of Science in Sports and Exercise. He has worked as a physiotherapist in various settings like the aged care sector, in private clinic, medical centers. Today, Dr. Parth will tell us about scope of physiotherapy in Australia. Over to you, Parth, and thank you for coming.
First of all, thank you for inviting Dr. Diksha. I would like to thank Dr. Bala sir and Dr. Hemal sir for giving me this opportunity to speak about the scope of physiotherapy in Australia. So good morning, everyone, and good afternoon to me as it's 3:30 in the afternoon in Australia. So yes, my name is Parth. Nice to see you, this many people engaging in this Zoom meeting. So as Dr. Diksha said, I have completed my Bachelor of Physiotherapy from ARIP in 2014, from 2014 to 2019. So after that, completing my bachelor's, I came here, did my Master of Sports and Exercise from University of Southern Queensland in Ipswich, which is in next to Brisbane. So let's get started. So in between, if you have any questions, just keep yourself on mute or raise your hand. I can answer it straight away. Okay. Let's get started. So why Australia? So there are multiple reasons you might be thinking about, let's go to Australia or Canada or US, UK, but why Australia? So I am a little bit biased about Australia. So please bear with me as I like Australia compared to other countries to go and live yourself. So first to start with, it's a great variety of fields in terms of physiotherapy field. So in India, there are a few, like mainly we follow cricket and football. If you are considered your field as a physiotherapy, sports physiotherapist, but in Australia, there are plenty of sports that we did not even see in India or did not even uh, aware of what actually the Australian football is or National Rugby League is or rugby union is. There are plenty of sports, so there are plenty of opportunities comes with all sports. In terms of physiotherapy, if you want to shift your career to suppose sports management or sports physiotherapy or sports and exercise science, as I did my master's in, so yeah, there are plenty of scope for the physiotherapists and diverse community and friendly people. So you might have heard there are bit of racism happening in Australia, but that is not true. Everything, even it happens everywhere. So it's very minor. You in your whole life, you don't not gonna face any racism if you follow or if you do your own things properly. So don't worry about coming to Australia that you might feel anything compared to the other countries. And it is very safe, I would say, compared to other countries, and diverse choice of healthcare system and healthcare benefits. So if you come to Australia, there are plenty of fields, as I said, aged care system, hospitals, sports fields, medical centers, private clinics. Even you can do some. There are different fields of disability as well. So you can go to the disabled people's home, do your physiotherapy, come back, and that be your rest of your day. So we'll explain everything by following slides. So don't worry about that. Sports and fitness loving country. As I said, Australians love any sports. Or if you explain that, suppose I meet any sports guy, I explain how we play kabaddi, and they'll be like, "Oh man, I'm gonna just watch it. I'm gonna love the sport." So everyone is very friendly and they love their sports. So it's good to come here, as I said. Excellent weather condition. So if you like India's weather, you would be in love with Australia. It would be, I would say, 60 to 70% similar to Indian weather. So it would be good to live. So it will be having 8 months of summer, 4 months of winter. So same as India, and bit of monsoon in between summer. So don't worry about that. And beautiful landscape, including mountains, deserts, and one of the best sand beaches, white beach, and everything which you will explore once you come here. So yeah, multiple opportunities to pursue your career, as I said, and there are multiple visa options available to increase your time of stay. So if you come to us, suppose you come to on the student visa, you did not able to complete everything in mean type of your visa stay. So there are multiple options available that you can extend your visa. You can ask to your employer, they can sponsor you. And so if you come here, you actually want to stay, you will stay here for longer time. So don't worry about that. Okay. Any questions about this? We'll go forward. Let's go. So as I said, visa options. First of all, wherever you go, you start with the visa, student visa, subclass 500. As I said, there are plenty of courses available in our field. Most of there are courses of Master of Physiotherapy, which takes lots of money outside. So if you want to pursue their career, start your physiotherapy from, I would say, if you have money, start with Master of Physiotherapy, as it opens your most of the career pathway if you choose Master of Physiotherapy course. But if you can't, everyone has different financial condition in India. So you can go to any, such as like my course, sports and exercise physiology, or any other health related course like public health or healthcare management course, which are comparatively financial, like cost efficient courses, and it won't detach you from physiotherapy field. So it is little bit of health or whatever you did in bachelor's, you might study the same or little bit different. So these are the courses available, and most of the courses try to select PR leading courses, which helps to get your point-based PR system for the future. So there are 70 to 80% courses in most of the universities, which leads or which helps to get your permanent residency in the few years time. Okay. And yes, now they have increased from 3 years of post-study work permit to 5 years of post-study work permit. So suppose you get 2 years of visa, of your student visa, you complete your 2 years of study, and suppose, excuse me, if your course is, sorry, someone wants to say anything, you can unmute yourself if you want. I guess no. So they have increased a few courses, post-study work visa rights as well. So you can get at least 7 years in Australia, and you can do plenty of things to pursue your masters or do your permanent residency in those time. Okay, as I said, there are plenty of visa options. 482 visa, employer sponsor visa. There are, I would say, just a minute. Yeah. So if you want to pursue your career in physiotherapy, there are an Australian two types of registration you can do it. One is Australian Physio General License and Limited Registration, which we'll discuss in the following slide. So yeah, these are the visa options. And at last, there are 186 visa leads to your employer sponsored direct entry, but you need to complete the general registration process, which includes written examination and clinical examination in 3 fields of musculoskeletal, cardio, and neurology. So yeah, it takes time, but it's gonna be there. So don't worry. The next slide. What to do after arriving Australia? So once you are on the student visa, I would highly recommend to complete your 2 years of study and then start your other process. So many juniors, like my juniors calls and they said that like, I just came to Australia, I want to start the physio process. So I was like, when you gonna do your studies? They were like, I can manage. And in between they call me again, like, I have started the process of reading, but I am not able to manage every load. So try to study your 2 years of course at least for 1.5 years. And by the time, if you're near to complete your studies, and then you can start the process of your physiotherapy registration. So, okay. So as I said, if you have studied your Masters of Physiotherapy course in Australia, then you are straight away eligible for the general registration from Australian Physiotherapy Council. And you can start your work straight away as a physiotherapist after applying for your registration. So if you have studied your master, you don't need to go for any examination after completing the masters. you can straight away start your physiotherapy journey. As I said, if you have an option, try to go for the Masters of Physiotherapy courses from any Australian university. And you have any questions, feel free to call me or message me. Okay. So options who have taken different but the related course to the physiotherapy, which we'll discuss in a following slide. So by the time, yes, you can work as an allied health assistant or a physiotherapy assistant if there are any options. You don't need to get any other documentation from any other healthcare practitioner regulation association. So if you have your physiotherapy degree and there are, I would say, job available for allied health assistant, you straight away talk to your employer and do the needful and you'll be good to go. Okay. Any questions till now? Okay, so Trisha said there are masters of course, but it's, excuse me, sorry. It's in sports field. Yes, there are few courses, but at the moment they do allow only like international graduates to go in a generalized or a rehab master of sports, master of physiotherapist. So most of the courses available to international students are either musculoskeletal or a rehab. So at the moment for international student, I'm afraid there are not many options for the sports physiotherapist masters. But once you finish your general registration, there are other Australian Physiotherapy Association, which provides the sports physiotherapy courses, like a certification courses. You can upskill yourself and you can go as a sports physiotherapist. So what about rotational physiotherapy?
Rehab physiotherapy.
Oh, yes, sorry. So
It's
rehab
understood.
is like a, yes, rehab is like a general course. You will go through most of the physiotherapy field, but it will called as a master of physiotherapy in rehab. Same course which is available in I would say ARIP. I think Dr. Dhruv sir is uh, in charge of that course. So it would be same, but you study a little bit deep in terms of everything. Yes. But if you wanna look at your university's website, and they will be having plenty of information about that. Okay, I believe I answered your question. Okay, so let's go forward with it. What to do after arriving Australia continued. Whenever you are near to complete, as I said, to complete your 2 years of masters or any other course which you have taken, you can start your process going through the APC's website called Australian Physiotherapy Council. It is the only website or council who does this process. So don't worry about any other else. And there are plenty of pathways, but as an Indian qualified physiotherapist, you need to go into standard pathway, which will help you to gain knowledge about Australian healthcare system and make you eligible to get a general physiotherapy license. So standard pathway consists, first you need to go through the website, make your account, upload your degrees or any other documents which they required. They will do the eligibility assessment. You need to pay a few dollars, as everything is, I would say, comparatively expensive in Australia to finish this process. So first of all, eligibility assessment, it takes 3 to 4 weeks to come, and then you'll be eligible to enroll the cultural and safety training, which they will explain how the Australia and how different culture of Australia and how you need to respect people of different culture. So yeah, and after that you can get enrolled in written examination. Oh, sorry. After the cultural training, you'll get your interim certificate, and with interim certificate, you will be able to get your limited registration. Again, we'll explain after a few slides what is limited registration. So after interim certificate, you can get enrolled in clinical examination, and you can book your examination, which might come in 3 to 4 months time. Prepare yourself. There are plenty of documents available on council's site. You can download it and go through that. And it will be most of what like graduate level. So it's not like they will ask you different questions that you haven't studied in your bachelor's. So you go through those documents and make yourself able to pass that written examination. Yes, it is pretty much, I would say, 50 to 60% similar whatever we did in India, but 40% would be an ethical questions, which is slightly different than India. So you need to study plenty of ethical material, which says, suppose it will be a scenario like you are in the aged care setting. I would just explain one question from the written examination. So suppose you are in an aged care, the aged care resident is having some condition and you want to discuss that with either a nurse or their doctor. But in Australia, you need to, if the person is having say cognition, proper cognition, you need to get his or her verbal or written is a consent to discuss those with nurse or the doctors. If you get caught, you might get your, what is that, license revoked or suspension. So there are plenty of things you need to be aware of, how the healthcare system in Australia works and how the privacy policy of each and every health practitioner or the clients we need to follow. So yes, I'm not gonna make you afraid that it is very lengthy, but it is very general. So if you read through that, you will be good to go for the written examination. And once you pass your written examination, you need to book for the clinical examination. And clinical examination consists of 1 hour of explaining things. Suppose you will get your whole case, and the patient will be sitting in the simulation, and suppose you are going for the musculoskeletal examination, you will get 50 minutes to complete your assessment, do the needful, and address the treatment. So 50 minutes of each. So examination would be of 3 hours, or you can book it for every day. So 1 hour a day for all those 3 exams. And yes, it is challenging process, and it does takes ample amount of time when you study. So yeah, it is a bit lengthy and a bit expensive. So yes, it's gonna take a bit of time and money too. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask it. Okay. Any questions till now? Which one is good to do masters, from India or from Australia? So it's all about where you want to go. So suppose you want to come to Australia after doing your masters, but you need to still go through the standard pathway of written examination and clinical. So it's good to gain knowledge, but if you are planning to come Australia after doing your masters, you need to complete those process. But if you do the same masters of physiotherapy in Australia, you don't have to do these exams, I would say. Yeah, it takes at least a year of your life to do everything, because there are like limited examination dates are available. So yes, hope you got the answer. Thank you. Any questions other than this? Okay, let's go forward with that. Yes. So limited registration. Oh, hang on. I got another message, I think. The standard pathway examination depends on your own course. What did we choose, like neurology? Yes. So if you have choose Master of Physiotherapy, as I said, you don't need to go any standard pathway. But if you have done the same courses from international, which is India, you need to go for the standard examination pathway. You can unmute yourself, Himani, and ask Gujarati, Hindi, English, whatever you want to. So, yeah. Because I couldn't get your question. Okay, fair enough. Any questions? Okay, let's go with the limited registration of physiotherapy. So suppose you are inpatient and you want to do your physiotherapy walking straight away when you are studying. So you get 24 hours of, excuse me, yeah, 24 hours per week of your work, and you want to do just go with the physiotherapy. And there are employer who can sponsor it. So we'll go for with this registration. It's called a limited registration. So once you finish your APC, go for the standard pathway, get your interim certificate after doing the credit evaluation and cultural safety training. You need to find an employer. Suppose I have a good experience or Australian employer who has experience of 5 to 10 years in the field, and then only they will be able to sponsor you for this limited registration. So there will be plenty of documents you need to get arranged. Then the employer or the senior physiotherapist will sign that, okay, I'm going to take this physiotherapist under my supervision for this year for these locations. So suppose you are working in a two clinics, so you need to write that I will be working under this employer for these two locations only. Yes, you will be a physiotherapist, not a physiotherapy assistant. Suppose people said if you are under limited registration, you will not get that respect. No, it's not like that. So if you have the registration of physiotherapy, you will get the same respect as the senior physio. So no need to worry about the hierarchy. Yes, you need to report to your supervisor or the senior physiotherapist, but you will get respect and your treatment will be respected if you are treating in a good way, I would say. Yes. So limited registration, you can work it like it takes 3 to 4 months of time after submitting all those documents, because Australian Health Practitioner and Regulation Association called APRA, which evaluates your credibility to work under this employer or supervisor. So it takes time to evaluate everything and make those documents available and so many things. So yes, so you can still work as a physiotherapist before giving your exam. So this limited registration helps to work under supervision while you complete your written examination and clinical examination. So it just helps for the to prepare everything and to get into the Australian healthcare system, which is what I am doing right now. I am halfway through. I have passed my written examination, so booked my clinical, which will be coming in few months time. So yes, it does help. Okay, any questions? No. Okay, let's go forward. Earnings or payment rate. So most of the juniors or old colleagues ask me how much you can expect or how much they're gonna pay us on when we come to Australia. So student, if you're on student visa, you have the work restrictions. You can't work more than 24 hours a week. So many student does ask about, can I get the cash job or do some illegal stuff? I would say if you are happy, just work 24 hours and you will be good to go for the future life. But yes, there are plenty of pathway if you want to go for it. So yes, you can work in any sector through your student visa time, and pay rates would be ranges from $24 to $27 per hour. So yeah, you can expect this much of range up to your uh, owner's consideration. So on limited registration, you will get 33 to $40, or I would say 60 to $70,000 a year package if you are a full-time employee. So full-time means you are working for 38 hours a week, in which definitely you can't work for the student if you are under student visa. This is just after your student visa, and if you are on PR, which is like a post-study work visa. So yes, it ranges from your experience and the setting. Suppose I have started my job from aged care. So this all are my experience. So definitely I could be wrong, or you want to do something else. Feel free to ask my questions. I will be having my contact details at last, so you can give me message or a call or any questions. I will be more than happy to help you with that. So suppose I have started my work from aged care settings. In aged care, there will be plenty of old people in here. So suppose આપણે ઇન્ડિયામાં ઘરડા ઘર હોય કાં તો વૃદ્ધ ઘર હોય એવું જ અહીંયા એજ કેર હોય. So aged care, I started my a job as a physiotherapist from aged care. So everything was smooth and slow going. You need to work on your English definitely, because when I started working in aged care, not many people was able to understand my English as I was speaking very fast. But aged care population doesn't understand, or they will be having the hearing impairment or hard to understand even our accent sometimes. So try to speak as slow and clearly. Suppose let's read the second sentence where like I was speaking before. It was like I used to speak like, you can work in any sector and pay rates would be ranging from 24 to 27 Australian dollars per hour. So this flow old people won't be able to understand. So I need to go, you can work in any sector and pay rates ranges from, so it's all about the accent. You need to work on it, but everything would be fine. So don't worry about that. Yeah, I have a question. Hang on. I have passed out in year 2022 and I have put of Australia file in ECU in Diploma of Healthcare Science and Sports and Exercise leading to the bachelor, but 2706, if I got rejection, if I put the file back in Australia in the future, there are chances of visa not coming. I would say I'm not the best one to answer this question, but if you have the refusal, it's okay. You can still apply for the visa, but they need a few like more documents or other clarification about why you want to come to Australia. So most of the visa, I believe, got rejected because they said that you are not a genuine temporary entrant. So you need to be more specific in your explaining few things about visa. But I would say I'm not the best one to answer this question. Thank you. And what is this difference in limited and general registration? Oh yes, sorry, I didn't explain it. So limited registration, you can work under, I would say, certain regulations. So either you need to go under the supervision. So suppose there are different level of physiotherapy. Suppose you start with a limited registration. The supervisor has to be on that premise when you work. So in your application, if you put 2 or 3 practice locations, so if the supervisor is not there, you can't work. So that is mainly main restriction. And suppose you want to change your employer or the supervisor, it takes too much time to explain things to the regulatory body and takes too much time to do the needful to shift our limited registration. As suppose I'm working right now as a limited registration, I don't like my current employer. I want to shift my job, but I need to convince the another supervisor to give me supervision or limited registration physiotherapy job. And once he is agreed, I need to give few other documents and submit to the APRA, and they will assess that application. And then only I can start work under that different employer or the new employer. So that is main catch on the limited registration. You can work, but there are few restrictions that you need to follow. And general registration, you can straight away work in any setting. You don't need any supervisor. So suppose you are working right now and you feel you don't want to change your job. You want to go to the hospital, don't like clinic. So straight away apply for the job. If you got the job, the next day you can start work. But in limited registration, it takes 2 to 3 months to for the approval, and then you can start. So main catch is that, and mainly the money. As you can see, limited registration guys getting $40, maximum $40 an hour to yeah, to get their payments. And general registration starts with a pretty much good amount, like $40 to $50 an hour, which is above average or a little bit higher compared to the other works. So yes, and different question. What is it? Is there something like which is good to go for limited or general registration? No, I couldn't get the question. Is there something like which is good? Oh, can you unmute yourself and ask the question, please, Trisha?
Krishna, you can ask verbally
Yes.
what you are going to ask.
Sir,
Yes, yes.
is general renting
No, your voice is cracking.
Go to full, Trisha, go to full network area and then speak. Your voice is breaking.
Yes, otherwise you can write the same question in Gujarati if you can't go. Yeah.
We can solve her question later on. You can carry on.
Yep, sure. Yep. Okay. Oops. Yes. So as I said, general registration physiotherapy is getting paid, I would say 20% more than the limited registration physiotherapist. And there are plenty of options you can, yeah, you can go forward with anything without waiting for any approval. So yes, it is a good option to go with, but it takes time and takes money as well. So yeah. And if you want me to answer the how much it's gonna cost, I would say $7,000 to $8,000 Australian dollars to complete the process with just paying up the fees of exams and other documents. So yeah, it takes time and money. Living expense in Australia in major cities is compared to higher to other countries. So yes, I have just explained a brief how much is gonna cost it, but it's not like exact this much. So everything is getting expensive. So $750 to $800 per month would be your rent, and another $700 to $1,000 of other expenses. But if you are good in saving money, you can save money. So yes, if you are coming to the July intake, there are two intakes, July and February. So if you come in July intake, you will get 4 months of vacation where you can work full time in any job, whatever the limits are. So suppose you come to July 2024, you'll complete your course by start or early November. And after November, December, January, and February, you'll get a vacation of summer vacation, or you can say Christmas vacation. You can work full time for any job. So yes, you can save your money and pay your fees of second year. So if you come to January intake, you'll get one of the 4 month vacation. So January, 2nd January, suppose you come for the second January, oh sorry, excuse me, February. Yes, so February you'll complete your course in June or late July, and your second semester will be starting from July. So July, you'll get 15 or 20 days of vacation. Then the second semester is going to start again in July till late October or early November. And then after November, you'll get 4 months of vacation. And by the time you finish your course, you'll get your post study work visa after second year of that November. So if you have any question, confusion about this, please feel free to ask it.
Once again, Trisha has written her question.
Okay, so No, it's difference in limited and general registration. Is it this one or?
Yes, yes. As the
Okay,
sir said,
difference.
yes. So which
The
one is
difference
good
in limited.
according to her? Which one is good?
Okay, so both are good, but suppose you have time to work until limited registration and you haven't studied the Master of Physiotherapy course in Australia, the only option for you is to go for the limited registration. So suppose you have taken public health course, which is cheaper and comparatively easy, and you want to start the process. And once you start the process, you get enrolled for the limited registration and get involved in the Australian healthcare system. So you'll get your answers, which might be in your exams, and get yourself going with the clinical examination and written examination. So if you did not study Master of Physiotherapy in Australia, after you complete your bachelor's, the only option for you is to go into limited registration, or you can do other retail job and prepare for the examination. But good option would be going for the limited registration, get involved in the Australian healthcare system, and make yourself comfortable for the exams. And general registration, at the end, after completing examination, we'll get the general registration. So once you finish your exams, you pass all these exams, and after that, APC is going to give you the general registration. So end goal for R would be getting general registration straight away.
Okay,
So
1 minute.
it is just a process.
Yes, I
Yep.
want to explain her in just a brief that whenever you are completing your BPT and then going to any abroad country, first of all, you have to work with some person who will supervise you. And then you have to give exam and you can go for the further courses, right? Likewise, Parth?
Yes.
So that is the process. Yes,
Yes.
she understood. Okay.
Okay.
And another question
Yes,
from
Vrund.
Patel.
Yeah. So what is your thought on your University of Queensland doing MPT? University of Queensland is the best university to do your physiotherapy if you want to study in Queensland or Brisbane. So there are a group of 8 universities where every cities would be having one major university. Yes, they do sell their courses for very expensive, but if you are graduated from this university, you will be a qualified physiotherapist whom everyone wants to hire. Hope I answer your question. Okay. Good. Then yes, average cost of university of most of other than the MPT courses ranges from $60,000 to 70,000 Australian dollars. So yes, studies and living in Australia is pretty much expensive, I would say, but it is rewarding. Suppose you have completed your course and done your general registration in couple of years time, and you will get comparatively higher salary than other guys. So if you have completed your general registration, you have 2 years of experience, you'll get at least $100,000 to $120,000 a year package for the full-time physiotherapist. So which is a good money, and you can survive in Australia with doing everything, plenty of things, I would say. So yes, any questions till now? I hope I did not confuse you guys, just giving you a brief idea about it. Does all university provides a scholarship? Yes, most of the university provides scholarships. So you can talk to your, I would say, that immigration agent about more information, or you can go to the university's website, but don't forget to change it to I am an international student pop out. So if you check it straight away, you will be on the domestic student side and you will see, oh, it's very cheap, but it's not very cheap. You need to shift it to the international student portal. So yes, they do provide scholarships. Okay. All right. Any other questions, guys? I believe I was a little bit fast and might be completing sooner than it was scheduled for.
No problem.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So no questions after this? Yes, no. So yes, the last I want you to do, guys, is follow every rule. So suppose you are on the student visa or work restriction, try to follow that. I have followed it, so try to follow it. So it will be a little bit helpful. I know it might be challenging for the future, but it will be helpful. Follow the healthcare practitioner guidelines. So suppose you are working as a physiotherapist, you need to go through the APRA's website and see how the physiotherapists and how the privacy policy of patients or the clients has to be protected when you work. So it is a major thing to work in Australia. If you are working in a healthcare system, you need to, I would say, respected about privacy of other patients, even if your colleagues do. So yeah, always be in your limit. Keep yourself out of any trouble. Yes, thank you. Okay, what is the question? Sir, if we are studying MPT there and want to apply for general registration during the study, can we do it? No, you can't do it. You need to complete your Masters of Physiotherapy. Once it is complete, you need to submit your final degree certificate to APC and then only you will get the registration. But even it is same as doing MPT in India. So you need to go for the clinical placement. So in between that, you'll get your student, what's that? I forgot the name. Student registration as a physiotherapist. So you can work under that criteria, but it would be same as limited registration. But you can't work to get paid. There will be just placements or internship or yes, placements, I would say. Or we are going like, yeah. Yes. I believe I have answered your question. Yes, thank you. Okay, any other questions, guys? As I said, I am a little bit biased to Australia, so please forgive me if I would be posting about Australia too much. Okay, so at last, best of luck, everyone. These are my contact details. So if you wanna just take a photo of it, keep a note, please feel free to contact me. Oh, hang on, there is another chat.
Another
Which
question.
university you do from MPT? I haven't done my MPT, so I have done my master's in sports and exercise, which is totally, not totally, but little bit different to physiotherapy. That's why I'm doing the standard pathway. So limited registration, I am like right now I'm under limited registration and going through the process. So MPT, there are few courses. So I'll just say my story. Not many of ARIP people were going to Australia. Me and my friend break and like did an icebreaker, and we came to Australia. We were not having this much of information when we were students. So it's good you are like ARIP is doing such things to get everyone aware of how to go to the different countries. So yeah, basically first we have to complete limited registration and go to the written examination with clinical and finally get your registration. That's true. If you are not enrolled in MPT in Australia. Yes, that's true. Okay, so these are my contact details. Feel free to ask any questions. Just let me know if you have any. I'll explain you up to my context. So whatever I understand, I have explained here. Okay, so yes. Thank you so much for inviting ARIP. Oh, hang on, there is one question. What is the cost of MPT to do in Australia? I would say at the moment, 80 to $100,000 for 2 years, of course. So comparatively, it is expensive. So $80,000 to $100,000. Yeah, 40 to 50 lakhs of Indian rupees for 2 years. Yep. Okay, so at last, thank you so much, Dr. Diksha, Dr. Bala sir, and Hemal sir, Dhruv sir, everyone for inviting me. If you have any questions, feel free to ask Dr. Diksha.
Thank you so much for enlightening the student about what is the scope of physiotherapy in Australia. And any student would like to give feedback, they can share their feedback. Any student? Okay, they are writing in chat box.
Thank you.
Okay. Once again, thank you from ARIP. We all
you.
can leave now. Okay. Thank you.
Have a good day, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Same to you.